Hello, I'm Seth Johnson with Land a House. This 90-pound package is from rubbersheetroll.com, and it's what I'm going to use to line the flume. So let's open it up and see what's inside. I'm really excited to be making some progress on this flume with those trees that have destroyed it a couple times. Kind of set me back a little bit, but I've been wanting to make some power with this creek for a long time. Hey, look at that. Gosh. Oof. All right. So this rubber is what you would find on top of roofs down in Florida and places like that. It's made to last about 40 years in the rain and sun. So hopefully, being underwater all the time on our flume, it should last for quite a while. This is a 10-foot by 20-foot section, so let's spread it out and cut it into 20-foot by 2-foot sections to line the flume. So let's get to it. All right, now I'm going to find out if this thing really is 10 foot by 20. 10 foot, yep. By 20. So to make sure that we get our 2-foot sections, I'm going to take the tape measure and chalk line and hopefully get a pretty good snap on this so that we can cut it evenly. So I'm going to place a stick down here to hold our chalk line. I hope this works. So I'll match up our 2 foot over here. I'm just going to pop it. Okay, perhaps not the best chalk snap, but I measured along and it will give us our 2 feet all the way. So now let's take an X-Acto knife and cut this. We'll see how well this works. It is thick stuff. I think it's gonna work all right. All right, so that's the last of them. We now have 5 20-foot pieces, so that's 100-foot total. Now the flume is somewhere around 85 to 90, so we'll have a little extra, and that's going to be used for our ram pump intake. So let's haul these pieces over to the flume and get them installed. Well, it took me a week to travel 40 yards. Well, I've got the rubber here at the flume, so let's install it. This thing sure does get dirty. So for fastening this down, I'm going to use a piece of aluminum up here at the front, and I'm going to bend this over, hopefully to let the water pass over and not under. But we'll see how well that works. What I was considering is using this piece of aluminum as a flashing, so that I can put this on the rubber, turn the rubber under, and then screw down to the board. That way the water will pass over it and not get underneath, hopefully. So I'm going to take some of these little 1/2-inch screws here, and but first put some holes in the aluminum. And I guess before that even, just need to cut this to length with my hacksaw. So let's do that. So we're looking at the base span of 11 inches, and then the side pieces are 4. Okay, have those 3 pieces cut. I did 3.5 inch here and then 11 inch here. So now I'm going to put some holes for my screws. I'm using a 9/64 inch bit. So hello. Now let's see if our screw will fit down in there. Close. That should do it. Alright, I think we're good now. A couple more of those. I pulled the rubber out of the flume and I've got it kind of flipped backwards. So I'm going to set this here and this in here. Now I want to make sure I've got this even. Got 6 inches there, 7 there, so pull it this way a little bit more. Okay, now we're even. So I'm going to take my drill and one of these screws and just attach this to the wood. Kind of like that. Okay, one more in the middle here. So this is just my idea. I don't know if it's going to work or not, but I hope so. Okay, and now I'm going to do the same thing with these side pieces. I'm going to carefully see if I can get this to flip back up under here without ripping anything. It is pretty tough though. This first section though is kind of the one I think will have the most leaks, because after this it's just a straight shot, except for the ram pump intake. May have to consider something on that one. That intake looks great, but now we have to worry about our gate. And this is what I can use to turn the water on and turn the water off. So I'm thinking about cutting down here and letting this flap out, so whenever I turn off the water, it'll allow it to go back into the creek here. So let's attempt that. Well, I tried cutting a hole for the door here and it wasn't very pretty. So I cut the rubber in half and did the same thing as our initial intake down here. So this is just flapping over, but we'll come back to this because I want to get the rest of this put down. So let's do that now and we'll just come back here later. So I used that aluminum piece on the first section to force the water into the rubber, but I'm hoping that if I just lap these next pieces, the weight of the water pushing down will prevent water from going back underneath the next piece of rubber. So we're going to try it at least. If it doesn't work, I'll come back and put more of that aluminum underneath. So, I don't know, I may give it like a foot or so, foot and a half. See if that's enough weight down on it. I went ahead and stretched out all the rubber onto the flume. So our next step is going to be to put screws in here to hold it on the side. My thoughts are, if it's folded over the wood, it'll make the wood last a lot longer. And so I'm going to do that, but I had to go get some washers because my little screws go right through this rubber. And then we'll have to work on getting the hydraulic ram pump intake from the side here. Do you remember back when I said I would have plenty of rubber to go to the end of the flume? Now the flume is somewhere around 85 to 90, so we'll have a little extra. Well, that was a lie. Looks like we're maybe 3 feet short of the end here. And of course I want to extend this a little further to get an extra couple inches of fall. Just got back from the hardware store and got some washers for our tiny screws to go into. They also had some .045 roof rubber. So I got a 10-foot section of that to finish at the end of the flume. And then, well, this rubber here is I think .09, so it's much thicker than that .045, but we'll see how it lasts. So I'm going to take these small screws and a drill, and I'm just going to attach the rubber to the side over here. Nice. I've only got about 100 screws, so for now I'm just going to go along here and pull this rubber back and just put in a few screws along the length here just to keep it up, because today I want to get some water flowing in this thing. Alright, I used most of my screws and washers to fold back the rubber. Definitely going to have to put more in here to keep it all nice and level. But I ran a pipe up the creek and it's full of water, so this is the moment we've all been waiting for. Set this guy in here, and then we will get some water flow. I've been waiting on this moment for a long time. Impressive. Very impressive. The moment we've all been waiting for. I've got water in this tube here. I'm going to turn it on, and we'll watch water flow down our flume for the first time. How exciting is this? It's a slow process, but it is moving. I do want to experiment to see if the water backs up under here. I don't think it will. Long ways to go still. Here's a spot where some water is backed up underneath the rubber. You can see it flowing out over here. It's taking off now. Let's go wait for it at the end. Here we come. Slowly. Yay! This seam right here seems to have a bit of water backed up in it. You can see it falling down there. So I'll have to put one of those flashings in there. And let's see, let's go down here. This one is doing fantastic. This one also doing well. So I think that one just has a low spot that I'll have to fix. Well, it's very exciting to have the water running on the Flume now, since I've been working on this project for over 6 months. A couple of things I'm gonna have to fix. That overlap where it's water's backing up. I've got the intake, and then for the hydraulic ram pump intake as well. And then I'm gonna go back with screws and just keep folding down the rubber where it's popping up. I'm very excited. I can't wait to start making electricity with this thing. Getting the whole creek into this Flume will be fun. Well, thanks for watching this video, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye. In order to fix the spot that was leaking, I just took a couple of the decking board pieces and stuffed up under the flap, and that caused an uphill spot, and since water doesn't like to go uphill, seemed to solve the leak problem.